loko ya beachini afamba mbe xiambalo xa vamanana na le beachini. Now you can imagine that. So I don't know, my wife and lava mbala tiburuku. Loko hi ri swin'we going out lava mbala swiburukwana swo koma, and funny how lava ambala swilo swa ku n'wi humesa ni n'wi languta ni n'wi vona ka leswi n'wi tlimbanyana.
He does get angry. Swinene I won't kandiwa ncila. Yeah, va kwata.
The Evangelical Presbyterian Church of South Africa is overseen by a synod, which has 8 presbyteries around the country. The Letaba Presbytery has 7 parishes overseen by a consistory and a spiritual leader called a Reverend. So, we travel the presbytery and get close and personal with the Reverend.
Randa kuxeweta hinkwenu lava mi nga na nkateko wa ku va mi languta mbulavurisano lowu hi nga ka wona namuntlha. Ni tiveka ngopfu affectionately, I'm known as SPH. S stands for Shirilele, P for Patrick, H for Hlekulani. So ni Shirilele Patrick Hlekulani Nyambi.
Apsheni, imina kumbuzo Augustine Nyambi, Jeffro wa xifunza xa Nkowankowa ehansi ka Presbytery ya Letaba.
Ndzi va nga va beberiwe hi n'hweti yini? Ya, mfundhisi va nga va beberiwe hi n'hweti ya April. A ni swi tivi swa ku va ku ta vito ra April kambe a ni swi tivi ngopfu mara ni va hleketela ku va nga va beberiwe hi April.
Simple.
You don't know.
Na ku va huma kwini ngani?
Velekiwile etikweni ra ka Mhinga, kulela kona ni majaha man'wana, nghena xikolo kona, sukela nkarhi wa hina ku ri hava leswiya swa grade 1 hi ri ka sub A na sub B, se ya ka 1 yana le ka 2, and that was done at Rangani Primary School. From there I proceeded to standard 3, 4, 5, and that was at Mhinga Higher Primary School.
High school vanga ya ka yona I Rivubye ka Mhinga.
Then I went further to what we used to call Form 1 at Adolf Mhinga Secondary School. That was only a year. The following year I moved further to Ripambeta Senior Secondary School, laha ni nga matriculata kona, and I think that was in 1987. So that is me, aka my basic education. Loko na ha ri xikolweni a ni naverile ku va either a medical doctor or medical practitioner or a lawyer. Leswi a swi triggeriwile hikuva eka Mhinga ku vile na ntlangunyana wun'wana wa graduation wa ku tlangela tidyondzo basically ta vana va hosi Adolf Mhinga lava va fuma hi nkarhi walowo. So vana va vona the current chief ya le ka Mhinga, the current traditional leader, Hosi Shilunga II, is a qualified lawyer and his younger brother, Tiny Minga, is a medical practitioner, is a doctor, a husband to Ivoni Chaka Chaka. So, you know, see, mintirho ya vuloyara na vudokodela yi kala ku tele vu teachara na vuphorisa na vuclerk and so forth. So ni navela ku I should be either one of the two. But I was also very close to my Reverend, who also happened to be my uncle, Reverend Mashila William Kosa. He was in charge of the EPCSA Akaminga. So I was very close to him, and I still am. So anivona loko va tirha ntirho wa vufundhisi na swona sweswo swi ni yiva mahlo, and then, you know, going out to church conferences ni vona va Dr. Chawani, Professor Musoma, the Reverend, na va Mfundisi Rambago. These were you know, well-known ministers of my church and highly educated. So nabona ni navela ku perhaps one day I will be a minister of religion. So I could have that dilemma in me. I will see, and I shared my story with Reverend M.W. Kosa. So he encouraged me. Of course, I was so much involved at church leadership in terms of youth. For many years, I'm involved at Makata youth. So after matric, I went to, the church sent me to the Federal Theological Seminary of Southern Africa, which this time around was in Pietermaritzburg. I'm saying this time around because it used to be moved from one place to another because of its approach to theology. It was a threat to white supremacy in our country, and the established apartheid order, because it used to teach, among other things, black theology of liberation and all that. So it was changed from one place to another. At one point, I University of Fort Hare, the late Archbishop Tutu was one of the lecturers. But then it moved to Edendale in Pietermaritzburg, then it was moved to Imbali. So I studied there for 3 years, doing a joint board diploma in theology. So Imbali, Pietermaritzburg was my home for 3 years. And after completion, I went there for the following year for graduation. My first parish, Kuruleni. Kuruleni is one of the farms that were bought by Swiss missionaries. It's somewhere near Vuwani. So ila ngasungula kuba mfundisi khona. Ila ile sitasini, in other words, minister abalungu khona. So I started to work there. I was still a very young reverend. I think, let me say I was a young minister, because before you are ordained, you cannot be called a reverend. So I was a young minister there. I think I was in my early 20s. Maybe I was 22, 23, somewhere there. Still very energetic and very ambitious and, you know, innovative for that matter. So I worked there for a year, and I think it was a very good foundation aka my ministry, because antra na vanhu lavakulu va Calabs, lava va tiveka va ku ri na Master Francis Ntleve, va Master Abel Shalati. These were very known teachers and principals of the school. At one point late, I also worked with somebody you might know, Stephen Magagani. Originally comes from there, but he stayed here in Nkowankowa. He continued to be a principal there, so we also worked together very closely. So Nikumaku, the support, Nava, the late Master Machawe, at Samahala, Master Machawe at Samahala, Kamajos, because I had 5 congregations, so Rulen was just a center. So these were elderly people, highly respected in the community. But then they gave me a certain extraordinary respect. Even if sungula kuona ku nileka office ya serious, nifanele take us seriously because I'm earning this respect. So that shini endile kuni bana attitude and shini pfuna kuni bana good attitude na ku jonda ku the vanhu lavakulukumba loko va ku respecta, you must never forget ku va respecta your office, and therefore you must respect your office as well. Take it handle it with care. And loko ni ri karhi ni endla matric, se swi va well known ku I'm intending to become a minister of religion. First, some of my teachers were disappointed. They thought it was a waste of time. I shouldn't go there, I should go for something better, which will earn me a lot of money. I didn't listen to that. I think the call was just working in me. Mara loko ni karhi ni dyondza ni vona my peers lava hi nga kula swin'we nga nghena swin'we xikolo, I see others going for medicine, I saw others going for law later on, one vavaka engineering, and coming out of tertiary, developer very fast. They are making a lot of money. So as we first maybe I've chosen a wrong career. I'm not succeeding. Look, people I grew up with, they're having nice cars, wearing nice clothes, they're staying in nice places. Maybe I've chosen a wrong profession, if you can call it a profession. So but then as I grew up in ministry, I realized that, you see, the happiness of what you are doing, it does not really lie on salary. It lies on fulfillment. Are you happy about what you are doing? Do you feel fulfilled at the end of the day after having done what you think it's your call? So I even though materially my peer groups were succeeding by far, I still felt happy about the fact that what I'm doing is something what I have a passion.
When did you graduate? Graduated graduation total I remember the very last graduation year when I LLB. It was in 2018 May. Yeah.
You want to know the issue of law, how it comes. I think the background that I gave you earlier on, that age, I recall, and I realized I must take it out of the equation, because I have to be there full-time studying there. There's a lot of practical thing to do. So you but again, look on Tamika TV, Nikinivona, my lawyer, my magistrate, judge, and advocate, I like arguments, but constructive arguments. And I like either winning or losing argument, as long as there are facts involved. You can easily convince me if you have got facts. So, look, when one of those lawyers, George Bezos, the human rights lawyer, one of Domis and Sevens, those people inspired me. Judge Mujapelo, Dr. Matthews Post. So, we are footed that desire. Look, we are footed. Then I said, no, let me enroll for law. And of course, I started my few courses with University of Free State, but it was a little bit expensive because distance learning I connect say I get through e-degree. You pay e-degree, they go and register you at Free State. So I only did Roman law, the historical origins of South African law, and also I did legal ethics. Then from there I moved to UNISA. So I studied the rest at UNISA. To earn an LLB, you have to have 40 modules. So mina got 3 at the University of Free State. One created only 2. One bangai credit, legal ethics. I UNISA very legal professional ethics. So in actual fact, mina I have got more than the required modules. I've got 41, including the one which was not recognized at UNISA, the one from UFS. So I studied. I felt so happy when I graduated, and one of my dreams have been actualized. And then after 2 years of my qualification, I thought I should become an advocate. So to be an advocate, of course, you have to have an LLB degree, which is a 4-year LLB degree. It cannot be anything less than 4 years. Because you remember in the past, we used to have 2-year LLB lay, and we end up B Proc or B Juris, BA law. So I was qualified because of it's a 4-year LLB degree. But then to approach the High Court, you need to get a lawyer and attorney to prepare a paper, allegation. We call it allegation because you must go there and say, I'm fit and proper to be an advocate. So that is an allegation until it is proven that indeed you are fit and proper. So I found Boga Muslaba, who is from around Muslaba area, and then I got Double Mtebule, who is also a very upcoming attorney. Then Vane Drowela Mapepa Yakona. Because they cannot appear before the judges, then they allocated an advocate for me. I'm forgetting his, I think it's Tanyani. Then he took me to the High Court. So I was admitted at Limpopo Division of the High Court of South Africa in Limpopo. That was in August 2021. Yes, of course. You want to see a link between theology and law. At face value, people will conclude because the perception is that you stand for truth, they associate you with lies. So that question, at face value could be, Shana, can we combine lies and truth at the same time? And unfortunately, we still have to teach our people. There is a link between theology and law, now lawyer or whether if you like, because God is a just God. He's a God of justice. That is why he wanted the children of Israel to be liberated from from Egypt, because they were living under unjust circumstances. They were being oppressed by others who thought they were superior than the Hebrew slaves. So, Egypt, we see justice at work there. So law again is about dispensing justice to people, dispensing fairness to people, and law. Our God is an orderly God. So law creates order I mean, you cannot kill someone and it ends up there. We do nothing. We have to follow up, make a follow up. We have to establish if indeed you killed intentionally or unintentionally, and you have got to face the consequences of your action. And even in church, all of us as Christians, we know that one day we're going to face the consequences of our actions, of what we say and what we do and what we think. So indeed there is a link. That is why in the Bible, kuna ti huvo ta milawu, kuna ti St. Paul himself, he was not only an evangelist, he was also a lawyer. So that there is a combination, because it's about the good for the community and good for each human being. Well, you want to know my overall message to the church. I would say, let the church be true to itself. Let the church be true to its calling. And let the church stand for all the gospel imperatives. It must not just be one of those organizations in society. Impact. The church must get out of itself and reach others and reach the community. And the church, for me, it should serve every member of society, whether Christian or not Christian, Islam or African traditional religionist, or whatever religion. Now, even atheists, the church must reach everyone. I feel a role in a society. The role of the church must not only be seen on Sunday. Every day, the church should be out there to reach people. Disaster, the church must be there. The church must be there. Leadership, the church must be there. Whenever there is a problem in the community, the church must also make its contribution. So let us be true to ourselves by getting out of our cocoon and join the life of the nation and make our impact.
Apostle Paul.
Okay.
He was more like a storyteller, so same as our Rev.
The storyteller.
Yeah.
So who does he connect with in the Bible?
That I can't tell. Honestly, I can't tell. Because bona ngitaba umuntu wawo kaBhibhele abala ukudifananisa namuntu. Yeah.
Well, I really would like to akaBhibhele munhu longathekela ukuthi associate na yena. Of course, I think the center is Jesus Christ. But then he's not only human, he's also God. But then when we come to a human being, really I would like to associate myself with Moses. I like the Exodus story, and I like the role that is being played by Moses there. I mean, leading people out of a bondage, going through with them. The problem about challenge. I know when I'm a leader, I will be challenged along the way. Sometimes you'll be challenged by the people you lead. Sometimes they may even turn against you. So I find courage, aka Moses, but that irrespective of that, he remained a leader. And regrettably, he didn't see the promised land. I mean, he didn't enter the promised land, but at least God showed him, said, look, one thing I can promise you, even when you are not there, you have played your part, you have played your role, you end up here. Somebody will take over to lead these people where I got a promised land. When I will not get there, but there it is. And sometimes we may feel that God was not fair to Moses, because how can, he engage him in such a huge task, but finally doesn't allow him to enter the promised land. But I said to myself, there is another promised land better than Canaan. So I think God has taken Moses to another promised land which we all long for. So really, I would like to be mosaic in my approach of ministry.
Yeah, his favorite verse, I can't really tell. Not about the book about the ranzaka from the Bible. Ka Old Testament varanda book ya Geneza, and then ka New Testament varanda the Gospel books, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Mostly not the same one not the scriptures state.
You want to know my favorite scripture in the Bible? Well, the Bible has got Old and New Testaments. I will tell you what my favorite text is in the Old Testament. The calling of Moses. When God called Moses, that is my favorite. Looking at what he did after God called him. The story of Exodus. Maybe because I'm inspiring to be a black theologian. I do my theological studies following black theology and liberation theology. So the whole act of liberation there that I see there, and because that liberation is so much linked to, you see, when you read Exodus, story shabana Israel, xikwembu xite ka Moshe kuta ku loko va humesile la a tikweni ra Egypt meta ni gandrela entshaveni leyi. Now you see a link between liberation and worship, liberation and religion. After their liberation, they will worship me here. So there's no dichotomy between politics and religion, secular and sacred. And that's my approach to ministry. But of course, in the New Testament, my favorite, John chapter 1. In the beginning was the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word became flesh, God becoming human. So it's no longer a God who is far away in heaven, it's God with us. And this is what I want to teach people always. God is a God who is with us in all our challenges. In the midst of all these pandemics, in the midst of all these wars, hunger, the starvation, the floods, the wars, everything that we experience, God is still in our midst. And I think that is a message of hope which I always want to give to people who are in despair. So the story of Exodus as a whole, and the Word becoming flesh, those are my favorite sections in the Bible.
Mfundisi, mina ngotshama ndva tisele ti hlantswa and va byele ri va tiphine ngopfu ti hlantswa leswin'wanyana a ni swi tivi.
He's a very diverse person.
Okay.
Yes, so with him you'll never know. Yeah, anything goes with him as long it's healthy. Basically that's it.
Okay. His favorite food is swakudya swa xintu. Varandza swakudya swa xintu because va kurisiwe hi kokwani wa vona. So varandza miroho, tihove, masonja. Loko ku ri ku swa western swa nghenelela ku ngo va hake na oxtail. But mostly varandza swakudya swa xintu.
My favorite food, I come from a very traditional community, Kaminga. Hekule kudya miroho, hekula hekudya matomani, hekula hekuya ya priyati hlamfi arivubye. So sweswo sesuka ka mina. I go with my wife, with my children. Here at the restaurant, here there's xilungu, English food here and there, breakfast. I enjoy that. But the most favorite akamina is sweswo nitikumani kudya miroho ya tin'hwembe na tinyawa swi kanderiwile. Nikini dya goshi na mandandi manga tsakatiwangi loko mari matsongo manga tsemeleriwanga loko mari makulu ma tsemeleriwanyana ma slices ndlela. Those are my favorite things. Leswi tsakela swinene leswi eka kula swona na fish. Ni lave yo xava nje kun'wana lava leyo ni kuma ni vona ku ya ku huma hi le matini leyiwani. and I still enjoy. Not everybody is enjoying it. My wife does not take even one, but me I enjoy them. The one quote that I live by. Of course, there are many of them, but I will tell you one which always gives me courage. It's the quote ya Nelson Mandela. Look, it seems impossible until it is done. You know, it seems impossible until it is done. So that gives me courage. Yakubaninga Chabe to start something, and I link that to the meaning of my name Patrick, which was explained to me by a certain visiting professor, Lokona Hari at Tertiary, who came from Union Theological Seminary in Virginia, USA. Professor Donald Doe, he said to me, "Do you know what Patrick means?" And I said, "No." He said, "Patrick means a courageous man who forges ahead regardless of the difficulties." Now I link that. I have not researched if that is the true meaning of the name Patrick, but I like it, and even if it does not mean that, but I will always attach that that explanation. Yeah, Professor Do, you must have courage to do things which others cannot do, to do things which others say are impossible to do, and once you begin, you're done. Like I'm telling you. I'm pursuing theology, found by theology. That's my area. But along the way, I said, look, now I want to do law. It looked impossible, but once I started, I went through, and I completed. So I think, and this is an approach which everyone can learn from the quote Mandela. It seems impossible until it is done. Do it, you will realize that it is possible.
Ford World Track tikomba va yi rhandza ngopfu i mhaka ya speed lexi yi nga na xona. That's got a lot of power. Va tikomba va ri munhu wa ku rhandza movha ku tsutsuma loko ni bala mabisi.
His favorite car is Ford Ranger, the one he's driving currently. What not to baranza 4x4.
Why?
Why Baba like comfort? From what I hear from him, Baba like comfort the 4x4. Now quite look over maybe long distance. Look over we are covered. Look, I'm tired, but my body I oversaw because of the comfort of my car.
You also want to know my favorite car? You know, I really do not have a specific make yamova le nitsakelaka, except to say that nitsakela yiri 4x4 and the yiri double cab. I look on the anitira agiani getting it for the first time. Kereke inishavirili and later on inishavisela more via ya Isuzu. It was 4x4 280, and then from there enjoy the comfort, like how convenient the car was, because Lagunga muddy you will go, Lagunga mountainous you will go. So I fell in love with that car because it's sort of it's SUV like it's a buggy, but it's also an SUV because family 4, you've got your buggy there, so enjoy. And then from there, my second car, my second car, which I regarded as a car, Akuri Navara. 4x4 Nayona, liked it. The third one, Akuri Ford Ranger SLT, 4x4 Nayona double cab. Now I've got the fourth one, Ford Ranger still, wild track, 4x4. So it has become part of me. I enjoy driving such cars. Yeah, regardless of the make, really, as long as this 4x4 double cab, and I'm convinced that it's okay. I really like that. Because remember, you know, as a rural boy, our relatives are there. You find them in the Bundu areas where the roads are not smooth, and you have got to be in touch with them at times. So with that car, it's so convenient. But also on the road, when it hits the road, you arrive at your destination on time, and you're not tired. So that is that.
Semba kumfundisi bangaba tsakela ku bona bolo, soccer, favorite ya bona ngaba ngayitivi ngufu mara soccer nsemba ku bayirhandza mfundisi.
He's not a TV person, so ngeke ku show ya bona le bayirhandza ku yiyi, mara whenever he's watching TV, it's definitely news. Na swa politics loko tshuka ku va ku ri va twe ku na case yo karhi swa ti court go se swi va vona ku TV.
Yeah, with regard to my favorite television show, I must be honest that, you know, having been brought up in a rural setup where such, you know, things like TVs, we could only count good TV, le kaman, I to suka, if I'm by the group, I want a TV, and I want carry, I'm not in Wokari. As long as the worship furnace. So we didn't have that privilege. You were born before technology. I have a privilege. I think privilege I the radio. So the TV, you know, came late in our life. But currently, TV, everybody knows. The favorite news, always. But then I also follow, whenever there is a high-profile court case, I follow the legal proceedings. You know, I enjoy to listen how the arguments are taking place there, how the evidence is being led there, is being adduced there. But you know, look, Corona case in I case look, Corona, the two parties that are contesting, the applicant, the examination in chief. Then yili diwa he lawyer legal representative. Then the cross-examination stage number 2. I like that part. Yeah, cross-examination, where the lawyer of the opposing side begins to discredit all the evidence you have given, beginning to show the judge how untrustworthy you are, how unreliable you are. You know, destroying that person's evidence and all that. I like that part. And then, of course, the last part, re-examination. Well, I trying to put straight what your lawyer feels might not have been understood by the opposing side. But that's what I think. But you have to explain to me, TV, it's news, legal proceedings, opening of parliament. The sauna.
Not the Romanian that graduate. So, I think he's a bookworm of some sort. He's a rev, he's an advocate. That's what that's a I think.
During his free time, loko vangari ntirhweni, baranza kuhuma swinene. He loves outings and also traveling. Xin'wana lexi va xi rhandzaka I ku hlaya. I munhu wo hlaya swinene, va hlaya tibuku, be it inspirational books kumbe ta Bibele, even the politics and study.
And if you were to take him on a trip, what would you take him to? Like, or an adventure, what would you take him to?
Bookshop. Mall of the North. Specifica.
Why?
As I said, go a bookworm, so I think he would enjoy some literature outside of what he normally has.
Okay.
So just to introduce him to something different, but still within range.
You also want to know my hobbies, apart from being a church or being kati study stamina. You know, I like going out. My wife knows about that. I hate being in the house. I don't like 4 walls around me. I like going out, going to restaurants, going to parks, going to game reserves. I really like going out, and it's a sad thing that because here as Bafundis, people don't think that we socialize. Our life is so much restricted. It isolates you. The ministry isolates you from people. Whenever they see you, they expect to see a certain image, dressed like this, who will speak like this, something who is a little bit half God and not really human. And I think it frustrates a lot. It creates a loneliness. So I like going out in the shorts and and all these kind of things. No, so going out, enjoying life as it is, it's really my hobby. I don't want to spend a year without going out at least 4 times, and I like mixing with people, whether mixing with people, sitting with them wherever they are, listening to them. And then of course going out with my wife as well. My wife is Jeffro na ina bangulangutela ku abambarisi swin'wana tirhoko to leha ti fika le milengeni na loko ya beach ina famba mbe xiambalo xa vamanana na le beachini. Now you can imagine that. So I don't have my wife ni lava ambala tiburuku. Loko hi ri swin'we going out ni lava ambala swiburukwana swo koma, and funny how lava ambala swilo swa ku humesa ni n'wi languta ni n'wi vona ka leswi n'wi tlimbanyana. That's what I like. Hey, sweswiwani we're going out, is boyfriend and girlfriend. Let's be us, and let's stop being church people now. Let's be us. We'll be church people thereafter. So, and people don't expect that. So, but we have to enjoy life like any other person, because we are not a mistake. As long as we are not enjoying it in the manner that is offensive to God, that is it.
One thing that people doesn't know about him, Iko is very social and friendly. But botala baba bona onge umuntu wa uptight, because ba umuntu wa ranza order, and loko ba ri ntirhweni avo hlekelela leswiya swa ku ingaku he's a funny somebody. But honestly speaking, he's so social, lovable and funny. Adiphina la guy.
Well, I don't know any impact which I might have made so far, but I would like to be remembered, to be remembered as a person who tried to do justice to scriptures, to be remembered as a person who preached not to please people, but to bring out the meaning of biblical texts to people. I would like to be remembered as a person who tried by all possible means to make people understand the message of the Bible, the meaning of the Bible. That is my burning desire every day, and that is why when I prepare a sermon, I pray about it. I go and do research about it. I try to see the lives of people as they live today. I try to bring the whole thing together, and I want everybody, when they leave the church service on Sunday, I want them to say, oh, now we understand.
Most of the time he's concerned in the youth, so I think ndakuyona youth, since it's the future of the church now wakumbeta ngopfu kwa switakati mata vona.
Yo. His overall message to the church, I think it can be unity, unity akerekeni, because I remember nakati parishes total lete banga hunza katona bafika ba preacher about unity. So I'm sure nakwala bangafika ba stakela swinene ko this parish yiba one parish, even though kurina the branches that different, but yiba a one parish.
You're requesting that I should motivate someone who has given up. And I would like to say to all people who have been confronted with challenges, never to give up. Because for as long as you live, there is another chance. So make use of that chance. Don't give up, because look at where Makazi is today. Look at where Makazi is today. You know, Makazi says, I respect a 200 coin and a 500 coin. Because let's look at China shopping complex I have washetela so nalaya akachina ke washetela the 200, the 50 cents and the 500 and all that. Akachin, not knowing she didn't know where she was going. We didn't know where she was going. We just saw her as one of those people, entertainers, or perhaps one of those boring people who are making noise here. But look where she is today. She's gone. Look, not a small one right now. Vambe bozwe hamba varele to fandisa ngonamera goloi vanhu vako ndafana nga drive ange goloi ndafana nga dlanka ndle mazingi amhlanje fambe Mercedes Benz. So vanhu vofana lava, they must give us courage not to give up. If you try this does not work, life kuna the opportunities totala, try something else. Maybe it's not your line, try something else. If this one does not work, try something else. And if you see it working for someone else, don't be shy to go and approach that person. I'm trying this, it's not working. You are doing the very same thing, it's working with you. Can you come in to assist me? Because I also want to do it, but apparently things are falling apart. And people out there are willing to uplift others. So never ever give up for as long as you live. Be a courageous person who forges ahead regardless of difficulties. And remember, it seems impossible until it is done. So in life, be hopeful and never give up. All these successful people, if you can go and listen to their stories, they will tell you that Ashisungulanga Shiri Rosie, it was thorny. But because of that courage, that I will do it until I succeed. You must be stubborn at times in life. The positive way of being stubborn, by saying that even when I fail, I will do it again. I will do it again until I succeed.
Favorite hymn yamfundisi hymn 196 Mbilu Nyanga Hosi.
My favorite hymn in the Bible, in the hymn book of our church, the EPCC hymn book, is hymn 196 Mbilu Nyanga Hosi. Ndilava moya wa wena tandiseketela. Diveleka mehandu ya moya. Itawoninga van'wana. That hymn, when it is sung, particularly before I preach, specifically verse 1, it takes me somewhere. I meet my Creator, and it makes me feel that I'm a sinner. I'm unworthy to preach the word of God to these people, because I am as sinful as they are. Who am I to can stand before them and preach the gospel? But I said, Lord, I want your spirit. Your spirit will make me worthy to preach the gospel to these people. And your spirit will make me preach the word that will transform not only the lives of my audience, but also my life as well. So that is my blessed hymn. I like it so very much. The love of my way.
Okay, the very important thing I learned from him, honestly speaking, manibona nintsanana eka vona swinene. So why don't say tavutomi in general? Ndonde swo tala eka vona tavutomi in general. Ku rhandza, ku rivalela, na ku embrace family, because va huma eka family leyikulu swinene. Mina ni huma ka family leyi nga ri ku leyikulu. So ni fike ni dyondza ku rhandza family, ni va family orientated loko se ni ri kwala avukatini se ni ri na vona.
Me navela leswaku ni explainer the colors leti hi ti tirhisaku a kerekeni. Hina vafundhisi, not necessarily ta vamanana na madodana. Now, in the first place, the colors leti ti mbariwa ehenhla ka preaching gown ya mfundhisi. The gown hina academic gown, matitiva teto, hina judicial gowns leti mbariwa ka hi the judge, advocates and attorneys. Ivi hi va na clerical gowns hi leti ta vafundhisi teto. Remember, mfundhisi is also a cleric. You can call mfundhisi a cleric, or a clergy if you want. So clerical gowns. By God's grace, I've got all those gowns: academic gown, judicial gown, and the clerical gown. Now, so this one is over what is stole. So, stole number one, lishinga common. Akerekenia hinaya a PCSA, and these stalls were introduced. They have not always been there with us. You usually find them in the Catholic Church and in the Anglican Church, and also in the Lutheran Church. But now the Presbyterian churches now have also adopted them, and Hina, as one of the Presbyterian churches, adopted. I think the approval of this was somewhere. I can hardly remember, but I think it was around early 2000s, maybe 2003 or 4. Akasinodo shahina leshi achikomwili ashawela at Johannesburg, Soweto. Now, this color, limi bonakala, ya purple. Purple is actually a royal color. Remember, and it comes from the Catholic Church. Remember, Kuri, the Catholic Church, it's both a church and a state. Vatican City is a church headquarters, but it's also a state. That's why the Pope is both the religious leader and the political head of Vatican. That's why when he visits the country, he's met by the president of the country, because he's also head of a state. That is Vatican. So the colors at one, the humakona, royal, because Pope afuma like like a royal person. That's why Ndawayana is a palace, and he's a reigning pope. Why choose another I want to reign as Pope so and so? He changes his name and get a new ID. Now, so this royal color, he only inga adopted many centuries ago at Rome. If I want to put a color for these officials, the Pope and some of the cardinals and the bishops. So he adopted to an extent that local Rome is not university. You very color, yiba color ya faculty ya theology. That is why everywhere like Ghana theology, except nowadays when the changes because of restructuring of universities. Mara I'm talking about who do you want to theology? Graduate, whether it be Bachelor of Theology or honors, this color will always be there. But don't want the colors, but you will see these people being there. The changes there now because the faculty of theology one say but amalgamated the schools, the college. But this color is always there. It's theological, in other words. Say Himbalayona throughout the year, the occasions, the one at the special color one whenever you think of a story, you reflect a color one. You think of this color. Right? This is an emblem here. This is an emblem here. Inga protected. Office here, the trademarks. He protected. No, it's not everyone who can use it. We can take you to court for using this. Now, this one, of course, is Alpha and Omega. You know this one. Alpha, this is Omega. Omega, right. So this white color, it stands for purity. For purity. That is why we use it local receive Holy Communion, because it's holy. My one local himbeleli should so we turn it around. We turn it the other way around. So it's purity, but also we use it logo hikatekisa vana, because vana vahava contaminated. They are holy, if you like. Say that's why we use it. But also we use it when we marry people, because it's a holy matrimony. So finally there is that is it. I think I can proceed to this one. It's not always used, but because of now high rate of death, we often see us wearing this. So this one red, it stands for blood, it stands for death. So lokoku lovelimu kreste himbala ngobule. Lokoku lovelimu kreste, because the blood of a Christian is a seed of the church. I embody this one. You see, I embody. So colorly imelaku irifu ufiwi. That is why I embody tsena ankosini himbala na a Good Friday. Kubambwaka Yesu ngatia yena itonili eshambanweni ukuhlatshwa kwejodo swamesaba. So it marks the death. Now, this color, I'm colorblind, but I think it's green, isn't it? It's green, eh? Yeah. Now, this one, green means new life. You can see all over the country, the landscape, everything turns out to be green. So, loko hipfula maribs yabafi himbala this color to assure you there is new life even though they are dead, who are looking forward for new life where God will renew everything. Everything will be green. Everything will be alive. So himbalalish na Easter Sunday he upfuka ka hosi Yesu. He va himbalali this color. Now everything is green, is new. Rivers are flowing. Birds are making their noise, crying out there, and the grass is green. Everything. The countryside is beautiful. So that is the meaning of. So don't just wear it anyhow, anywhere. No, you must first know what kind of an occasion am I going to, and then you wear in accordance with that occasion. Yeah. I think I've tried to explain. Yeah.
And then does anyone have the honor of putting them on you, Umengwe? Motimbaris? Is it just anybody who can put them on you?
Yeah. Now the question is, loko munhu afana hundzuluxa cinca xana I un'wana na un'wana nga endlaku swilo leswiwani? No, I un'wana na un'wana. We don't have anything written down. It's a tradition that loko hi ri vafundhisi hi ri kwalaya hi hlayile hi ta cincana hina hi hexe kwalaya. But loko ku ri kereke leyi ni ngo va mfundhisi ni ri nexe ka occasion yaleyo ku nga ri na mfundhisi, one of the elders will be honored kuba a endla sweswo. So it's not just anybody who can do it, because remember swilo leswiwani u swi kuma hi siku ra ordination ya wena, the day you are being made a minister of the Holy Word and Sacraments. Is the head of the denomination, the moderator, loyi ku mbexaka swilo leswiwani. So loko u fanele swi mbala aka occasion leyi a nga ri ku konaku se u ngo va tirhweni, still you have to respect when mbexi le office leyikulu. So it's somebody la nga occupy office i fanele ku atani mbexa so. Yeah. So swi ndza sweswo kusukela aka church elder, fellow ministers.
I not give up.